Welcome back everybody, Plant Abundance here. So I'm out in the garden at one of my Ashitaba patches. I've got a couple different patches growing. These plants here are going on 2 years old. If you're unfamiliar, Ashitaba originated in Japan and it's used as both a medicinal herb and a culinary plant. Has many uses. It's not very common to find these plants growing in backyard gardens, and I think that needs to change because this is really a powerhouse of a plant. Has so many different benefits. What I'll be sharing with you today is one of my favorite techniques for utilizing some of the more mature Ashitaba leaves so they don't go to waste. I like to get those harvested, dried, and process them and turn them both into a tea and a green powder. So you can also harvest some of the younger leaves. The younger tender leaves are really good for making soups. You can throw them into smoothies, throw them through the juicer, and you're gonna extract all that powerhouse of nutrition from the plant. Now, what is it known for? Well, it's high in antioxidants, very rich in antioxidants. It rivals that of green tea. It's been known to improve digestion. So, maybe an after meal drink about 30 minutes after a meal that can aid with digesting the meal. It's also known to balance hormones. Now, when you do cut off one of these stems here, you'll see this yellowy sap start to drain from the plant. This is known as chow cone, and this is antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. Now I'm just going to rinse these off really quick. And we're just going to clip them up and let them dry. So to hang these leaves up to dry, I'm using these 2-inch binder clips. I found these very convenient, but you could use anything, even twine. And there you go. They're all hanging up to dry. Some tea right there. So the leaves are nice and dry at this point. They're not overly brittle, so I'm going to go ahead now and pull these down. Now I'm just going to go ahead and pull off the leaves and remove the stems. The stems still have quite a bit of moisture. And even the leaves themselves have just a little bit of moisture remaining. That's how I like to harvest. What I'll end up doing is once I process this down, is I'll allow them to air dry for another day or two in the containers that I put them in to store. Now just using a food processor, I'm going to load it up with the leaves and break this down to tea-size leaves. This is just perfect for tea. Now to make the powder, all you do is take those tea cuttings now and put them into a coffee grinder. And now we got the powder. So here's what we ended up with. I'll just go ahead and put these into some smaller mason jars. Like I said, I'll just leave these jars without a lid for maybe a day or two, stir it up a couple times just to make sure there's no moisture that gets trapped in the jar. Alright, so now I'm going to be using the powder to make a banana date green smoothie. Got these bananas that I put in the freezer. I slice them, put them in the freezer when they're perfectly ripe. And to get them out of the jar, I just fill it up with the water I'm going to use for my smoothie. Sometimes I use coconut water. After about 30 seconds, those bananas just fall right out the jar. Throw in those dates, and then I'm going to use a rounded teaspoon of the ashitaba powder. Give it a quick blend. And here's breakfast. Really good. Now to make the tea, I'm just going to use 2 rounded tablespoons of the larger leaf cut. And you can use warm to hot water. Steep your tea for about 5 minutes and then just strain the liquid. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you like the tea?
Good, yeah. Yeah. I like it.